Most stories of service focus on bravery. Few talk about what happens after. This is one of those stories. We'd like to just put a disclaimer out there right away for anybody who struggles with suicide or struggles with the loss of a loved one or a family member. This episode might touch you in a little different way. So we just want to make sure that everybody's aware that we are going to talk about those topics today, and that if you struggle with that, this might not be the one for you to watch. And then again, maybe it is the one for you. So right now I'm here with Dustin Lindley. He's one of my coaches at Last Rep CrossFit. He was a Navy rescue swimmer and
Correct.
Aviation electrician.
Yep.
And you do mine rescue at Cortez Gold Mine, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So we're going to talk to Dustin a little bit about those experiences to start off with. Dustin, why don't you tell us a little bit about your Navy experience?
All right. Well, after high school, I joined. I didn't really have much direction. I just kind of knew that I needed to do something different. So I go to the recruiter. I just ask, hey, what's available to ship out as soon as possible? And so aviation electrician was one of those options. So I just took it. I had no idea what the job was going to entail. I didn't know if I was going to like it or not. But that got me to boot camp the quickest. So did that, went to boot camp, went to my command over in Norfolk, Virginia, and I barely did anything aviation electrician wise.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So the ship that I was on, we transported Marines, and they brought all their equipment. And the Marines, honestly, are some of the most incredible people I've ever worked with. Not only are they just tough as nails and constantly train, and their mindset is 100% on their job, but they can also fix anything. I mean, they're used to getting hand-me-down equipment, and those guys could probably fix a helicopter with some duct tape and bubble gum.
That's awesome.
So I never had anything to do. So I ended up taking on what the military calls collateral duties. So these collateral duties involved a couple different things with like shipboard firefighting, like being on some teams for that. But then there was also an opening for search and rescue. So I went to, or first I tried out, I passed. So I got to go to the school. So I went and did that school down in Jacksonville, Florida. And then came back as the primary rescue swimmer for my command. So I ended up doing that more than anything else.
Oh wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and it didn't involve. I don't have any cool rescues or anything like that, but I was constantly in the water because search and rescue always has to be on standby while they're doing flight ops to and from land. And I used to be super envious of the SAR swimmers that were attached to a helicopter squadron, not knowing that when we would deploy, their bird was always down. So here I am in the water, looking up, envious of these guys, and they're up on the flight deck, sitting in their broken helicopter, looking at me, envious of me because I actually get to be in the water.
In the water, yeah.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And I learned that when we did a swim call, and so during the swim call, all the SAR swimmers went out from. So me and then all these guys with the helicopter squadron, and we're just talking about it, how, we just had these opposite perspectives.
That's cool.
That were different. So I did that for the rest of the time that I was in, and then I got out in 2011, and once again didn't really have a plan. So I went through a few different jobs, met my wife down in Vegas, lived there for 5 years, and then moved up here, and then that's kind of when I started to get into mining. Made my way over to Cortez and with the underground, and then got on mine rescue.
Yeah. Awesome. So that definitely leads into the segue of where we wanted to head next. Mm-hmm. It was our mine rescue topic. We've had quite a few members in the gym over the years that have been a part of mine rescue that have experienced some hardships, and this is definitely one of those hardships. So we're going to talk a little bit about a tragedy, something that happened to one of their really good friends, Marissa, and how it affected the team, and then how the workout at Last Rep CrossFit helped the team. So we're going to talk a little bit about the tragedy and where it went from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we had a member that passed away out on site due to a tragedy. And we won't go into a bunch of details on it, but if anybody wants to look up a mine fatality on February 14th of 2022, I mean, everything's out there for them to see.
Absolutely.
But not only was she somebody that we worked with, but she was actually on mine rescue as well. She was my captain on B crew. And so, we kind of, we got everybody together that we could to go out there and do the recovery. There's a lot of things that, we look back on and we think about how we handled it, because all of us that were close to her decided that we were going to be the ones to go down there and to get her. And we just felt like we owed her that. We felt like that was an obligation, to the point where we were very aggressive when they suggested having somebody else go and do it. We were overly aggressive, making sure that nobody else was going to be involved. I mean, once we got down there was people, I think, with the sheriff's department or the coroner, that they were grabbing a body bag and they were trying to help us, and we were ready to throw hands. We were very protective over her, and we just didn't know. We didn't know the weight that it was gonna come with.
Right.
And not that we would have changed it. I think if you asked anybody, they still would have said, like, hey, I still would have wanted to give her that honor. It just would have been nice to know kind of the price that it would come with, but you don't know the price that it's going to come with until you do it. Yeah. Like there's nothing out there that prepares you for that. And so we coped with it in some pretty terrible ways. We would get together almost every night for a while after, and there was a lot of heavy drinking, and there was a lot of kind of separating ourselves from our families, and it came with a cost. It came with a big cost. I was still coming to the gym.
Yeah.
We, like you said, we did a memorial workout for her, which was pretty intense. It was, super long, 2 parts.
I remember coming in like the end of it, and it was definitely heavy. Yeah.
Yeah. And so not only because, so to add a little bit of lightness to everything, Marissa was very short, a very, very short lady, but very, very stubborn, very capable. And so we wanted the workout to be movements that would be hard for short people. Like that was the whole, of course. Yeah. So we did it, and we had a lot of people here, and that was definitely one of the healthier things that we did. But yeah, outside of the gym, we were not handling it well.
Yeah, it kind of spiraled after that, right?
Absolutely. And everybody spiraled in very, very similar ways. We had a lot of marital problems with people. A lot of people, a couple people went through divorces. I was separated from my wife for a year, maybe a little bit over a year, and it was hard, And then like later on that same year, a bunch of us went and did a hike on the Ruby Crest Trail.
Yeah.
So we did that kind of as another memorial and kind of a healing thing. But then shortly after that, we had another guy take his own life.
On that same team, right?
On the same team. On the same team in the same year. And, I understand that there's a lot of people are going through a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was like the only thing, but it was a heavy weight to carry. And I mean, we had one guy that he couldn't work there anymore. He had to go to a different site and step away from mine rescue completely. So we lost. We lost so much more than just Marissa,
Right.
you know. And it's hard. It's hard to comprehend. I don't know how to process all of
Right.
it.
Yeah, and it's been a couple of years, right? We're on year
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
And it's still hard to process it. I mean, even when I reached out to you about it, I didn't know exactly how to approach the situation because I knew it was something that was important to you,
Mm-hmm.
which became important to me because you were helping me coach at that point in time, I believe, years ago. And I knew it was a part of your life and who you are, but sometimes you just don't know how to bring, like, do we bring that situation up on a public format and talk about it?
Yeah.
And ultimately, as I told you, like, I just really felt we definitely needed to talk about it.
Yeah.
So many people struggle with some kind of mental disorder, anxiety, depression, suicidal, however you say that,
Yeah. Ideations.
ideations.
Yeah.
And there's not enough talking about it. There needs to be more talk about it. And there needs to be more ways to overcome some of these trials. And I think, like, Dustin and his team, they originally took the best step, I think, was coming in here and spending some time together and working out.
Yeah.
I think the mental state while you work out is a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
It helps you to overcome some of that emotional struggle. But then it just, if you don't consistently keep on top of it, it'll start to mount.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that was what happened, you know. And like I said, it's one of those situations where you don't know how to handle it, and you don't know how to process it, and you don't know what kind of resources are out there, and almost till it's too late. You know, it wasn't until we had multiple people on the team had tried therapy in what we thought was available to us at the time, you know, and you don't know until we didn't know until after my friend had taken his life that there's therapists out there that specialize in trauma related to first responders. We had no idea.
Yeah.
No idea until after. And then so I think it's important for people to understand that whatever you're going through right now, whether you think it's big or small, or whether you think that you just have to deal with it, there's so many resources out there that you can use along with the gym. And I think that's important to don't just settle.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's good to find the resources that you need to be able to process whatever you've gone through, whatever hurt that you're dealing with, and talking through things is just one part of the equation. I think it's important. I think that it serves a great benefit, but I think a lot of people don't factor in how much fitness helps mentally. Challenging yourself, pushing yourself harder than you ever thought you could, and not realizing that when you do that, it translates into the rest of your life. Like you're going to have challenges in life, because we all have challenges.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna have a challenge-free life. There's always going to be something that you have to deal with, and practicing confronting those challenges in the gym is a good way to translate that to how you handle them in life. And I think that I just wish more people knew how much it helps.
I think about when you were starting to talk, the first thing that came to my mind was to realize that you're not alone.
Yeah.
You know, like that's kind of I feel like a lot of the people that go through this and that have ended up taking their life, they feel like they're all alone.
Yeah.
and now we're talking about both tragedies at this point. And,
Yeah.
you know, feeling like you come in here, you're not alone.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. There's somebody in here that cares about you, and
Mm-hmm.
it's normally the coach or the owner, and if it's not just them, it's the rest of the community.
Yeah.
And knowing that everybody in here has your back. There may be days that you don't quite feel like that because you're struggling with something or something else is on your mind that you can't feel that. But I would guarantee you that no matter where you go, what if it's a facility similar to us like CrossFit, the people care, they love
Yeah.
you, and they want you to be successful and they want you to succeed. And like I said, I just feel like everybody feels when they're going through those trials and those situations that they're alone.
Yeah.
There's nobody that understands what they're going through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then it makes it hard for them to reach out to do anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think that they look at it and they think that they're a burden.
Yeah.
And this might come off a little aggressive, but I think what I've learned over time is how dare you neglect other people the opportunity to be there for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like you have people that care about you and they don't have to understand what you're going through, but they can be there for you.
Yeah.
And you don't realize, especially when you're in it, that they want to be there for you. And so when you try to hold it inside and you don't talk to people and you think I'm a burden, I don't want to put this on somebody else, tell yourself, how dare I neglect somebody else being there for me? Because you know that you want to be there for somebody else. I feel like that is, for anybody that's just, good-hearted.
It's called service oriented,
Yeah,
right?
I think that more often than not, we want to help each other.
Yeah.
There's a few bad eggs out there that don't, but for the most part, people want to help people, and I think that's one of the things that I love about the gym, specifically CrossFit gyms, because I don't think your general gyms really have that mindset.
Yeah.
People kind of stick to themselves. You're not really, the most interaction is, hey, how many more sets do you have? Like here, people care. People
What'd
care.
you do this weekend?
Yeah.
I noticed that you don't feel like you just seem off. Are you okay? Like you get around people so much and you talk to them so much, you feel like you can feel what's going on.
Yeah.
And then because we have been close, we ask.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sometimes it's hard to ask. People are just naturally pissed off.
Yeah.
And you don't want to ask, but you'll find those moments that you will, and it definitely helps.
Yeah. Yeah, and I encourage everybody too, if you see somebody that's off, like, just say, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Because sometimes people are hesitant, but they're waiting for somebody to ask that question. And what's the worst that's going to happen? They say, I'm good, man. I don't really want to talk about it. Okay, I'm here.
Yeah.
I think we we worry about what somebody's going to think if we go and say, hey, man, something's off. Like, and I can tell. But what's the worst that's going to happen?
Yeah.
They're going to say, I'm all right. Or they might open up and they may just be looking for somebody to just take that step.
Yeah, I can tell you how many times I've had that in here.
Mm-hmm.
As a coach, looking at somebody and going, are you okay?
Yeah.
And then they're not okay.
Yeah.
And you think it's the workout, but you really know it's not the workout.
Yeah.
Something else is going on, and that person is struggling with something outside. And I mean, let's just be honest, like most everybody in here is struggling with something. And it's a healing. Like this is like a healing place. And sometimes people don't feel that. Sometimes people feel a little bit different about it, and they feel the opposite. And I would have to say, like, if you don't feel that love and that feeling that Dustin and I are talking about, and maybe the inward look needs to happen. Some of that needs to go inward. And if you're struggling with somebody else here at the gym too, remember, some people they're struggling.
Yeah.
Like they're really struggling, and you have no idea what they're going through.
Yeah.
And sometimes they just their way of coping is talking.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like it.
And this may be the only place where they feel like they can.
Yeah.
Because we talk about it all the time, the gym is, as it grows, you're going to have people from all walks of life. And this might be the only place where somebody feels like they belong. And they might, you know, they may have personality issues, or they may, you know, just be a little odd, or they may be eccentric, or they may just be different from you. But this still is the place where they feel like they can just be themselves.
Yeah.
And we can all come in here and we can push ourselves, regardless of what your fitness level is.
Yeah.
Which I think, and I might be a little naive to the early years of CrossFit, but it definitely feels when I was first looking into CrossFit, it felt very much like there was a criteria, or there was a bar you had to meet.
You're a high level athlete.
Yeah, like you could only do it so you almost had to like go train to be able to get in. And then it just seems like in the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years maybe, things have shifted to like, we really need to promote scaling options so that this can meet anybody's fitness level.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it just feels like that has been such a hard push lately, and I think it's awesome, and I think more people need to know. That's probably, whenever I'm encouraging somebody to come to the gym, it's like, well, I gotta work out a little bit and get in shape before.
Yeah.
It's like, no,
you
do
don't.
that. You come in and do that here.
And you let a coach guide you through that, you know, and
and
it's just interesting. We've had a pretty big influx of people
Yeah.
in the last year. I mean, we've probably 60 new members since, probably somewhere right around there since January.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of new people that have come in. We're 151, 152 members right now, and just continue to grow. So, yeah, we're going through growing pains too. So
Absolutely.
everybody's starting to learn new things. You got new people in here, and you'll see people from all walks of life. And so we've had to grow too. So we're going through growing pains because we're growing so rapidly. And so sometimes I've heard people, maybe not complain, but just get worried that they're not going to get coached.
Yeah.
Just remember, a lot of times our influxes come from Ring of Friends Week, and once that's died down, then everything kind of goes back, and the coaches do the best they can to get around to everybody. And everybody here is important. Dustin has been a part of that important process. Dustin is a diehard. At least I feel like he's a diehard. He's always been there for me. He's always been there for Melanie and I. Since he joined, him and Chris, I think it was Chris, right? You guys, believe it or not, I don't have the logo on right now, but our traditional Last Rep logo came from Dustin and Chris. They, I had an old logo that got jacked by someplace in India. Now it's Last Rep Get Fit or something like that. He has got my logo, everything.
Yep.
So we had changed it. Well, we hadn't, and then these guys came to me and they were like, "Dude, Chuck, you should do something like this." And I think at first they were like, "I don't know if we overstepped our boundaries or."
We invested a lot of time into creating some mock-ups for it, and so because Chris and I always have this mindset of if you're going to present an idea, have an idea. Like, don't just, you don't bring up an issue without some sort of solution. Or something to work off of. So we put a lot of effort into getting it together, and there we go.
Can't hardly see it on this, but that's the logo they came up with, which is our traditional logo that we use for everything. Actually.
But and we prefaced it with like, listen, if you don't like this, we will scrap this whole thing. But we put a lot of time and effort into that and into our pitch.
This is it right here.
There we go.
That's the logo. I didn't come up with that. That came from my members.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that was pretty evident about how important like these guys, Dustin and Chris and some of these, like, I don't know if it was a first or second year members were. They were, Dustin and those guys are just, and Becca, they're in it. They're in it for us. They're in it for you. They're in it for the progression of the gym and progression of everybody's like actually individual life. They want you to progress and to become better. And we just recently I mean, he told you he's one of our coaches. He coached for me a long time ago, 8:30 p.m. class. That was fun and not fun at the same time.
Yeah, it was good. It was good at first, and then we had some struggles, and it just became something we couldn't maintain. There was
It was rough.
it was
Yeah, I didn't like being here till 9:30 at night.
No.
Whenever I had to come
I
in,
know.
so it was hard. For the mining guys, I'm sorry because I know that at times that seems like
I know
gets really low, but-
it seemed perfect, but then between you having to be up and then me having to drive out
Yeah.
to site so I could be in town in time every single night.
Yeah.
It was rough, but we tried it. And I think that's what a lot of the growth is all about, like
Yeah.
trying
new
something,
things.
adjusting, if it's something that's like, okay, this will work, but we need to make some changes, or if it's like, hey, this isn't gonna pan out, then we just switch gears.
I love it. If you listen to his terminology and how he talks, we make changes. If it doesn't pan out, we do this. Like, this is literally a team. Like, we have an awesome team here.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to see this place succeed, and it's because they want to see everybody succeed. It's not
Yeah.
just the place. The place is more than that. It's the people. And I think we were talking a little bit about that yesterday or earlier today. It's like, there's more to this than just a gym.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no other place where I have, not only do my wife and I pay for unlimited memberships, but we also come in and volunteer time
Yeah.
to do stuff. I also coach. We also, pitch ideas and just try to, be there and support any way that we can, whether it's coming up with ideas and helping out with that, or grabbing a paint roller, or whatever.
That. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
They've done a little bit of painting in my time. I think Becca helped me paint most of this gym. Her and Stella, she came down, helped, and definitely the other place right before we moved, we repainted that other place.
Painted that,
over there.
yeah, put in lights and
Yeah,
putting up those white plastic boards.
yeah, that's
are.
right. That's what Becca and you helped me
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
That was the whiteboard. So
Yeah,
Okay.
just trying to. I don't know. That tells you something.
Yeah, the
that
amount
tells
of
you
time.
something about what the gym is doing, and that it's more than just working out.
Yeah.
Like if this is a place that people come to be a part of something.
yeah,
And there's not a lot of places like that left.
no, there's not. And and I think we talked a little bit about his background, the tragedy, the aftermath, his turning points,
Yeah.
saw the spiraling and then came out of it
Yeah.
healing.
Yeah. So we gotta get back on that. That was a lot of people just thought like, well, this is it. This is what it is, and they, split up, and Beck and I weren't willing to do that. So, along with being consistent with the gym, we did marriage counseling and we started working on stuff. But truly, the biggest thing that helped us was having something healthy to do together, and that was come to the gym. And this is something that Beck and I do every single week. If I'm not working, and if I'm not working and it's not Sunday, at some point we're here.
Yeah,
And it's become a huge part of our lives, of our healing, of our kids' lives.
and kids do it on Saturday too.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So this is definitely something that we've been able to come in and do together and enjoy and push each other and grow closer and heal through that.
became therapy.
Yeah,
The gym
became the other side of the coin.
Yeah. So, just in closing, I want to thank Dustin for all you've done for us. It's been so much, and just being a true and loyal friend. I literally thought this episode we would be crying the entire time.
Yeah.
So we've done pretty good.
I was prepping myself to hold it together.
Yeah. I think when I sent Dustin the text about what we talk about, I was already tearing up. So thankfully that did not happen.
Yeah, I think we just
Would've been a sob mess for everybody.
Yeah, I think it's something where I was like, I was kind of able to keep myself a little composed,
Yeah.
because I've had a lot of times where, especially like when it comes around the anniversary of it,
Yeah.
like I think just maybe this last year, like Valentine's Day for my wife and I has not been
Just that.
super emotional. But I mean, I'd see somebody wearing a work shirt with, so we go up, we have numbers for our radio communication, and somebody had a memorial work shirt on. It had 303 Bravo on it, which was her number, which is now my number. And I remember one of the anniversaries being like, I'm going to keep it together. And I look over, and this is like in the morning changing, and I look over to see that shirt on, and I broke down right there. And I did that multiple times throughout that day. And so, you know, there's times when I can keep it together, and then there's
times that are harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So we just want to invite, if you're listening to this, you're not a member of the gym, you're more than welcome to come in, check it out, see what you think. We have an awesome family here. We want to continue the growth and continue the healing that we know that this gym can provide to others. Since Dustin loves this plan so much, we just started a brand new membership plan. It's 14 days a month instead of specific 3 days a week or something like that. That we think that would fit a lot of the mining guys' schedule very well. You can just pick, like, 1 week you can do 5 days, the next week 2 days, depending on what your shift is like.
Yeah. So for all my mining brothers and sisters out there that are working that 5-4 12-hour schedule, I know that a lot of people are hesitant to come to the gym. They don't want to pay for an unlimited membership because they don't feel like they're going to be able to utilize it. But then they struggle with the 3 days a week because of how our schedule falls. There might be a week where all your days off line up with, you know, Monday through Thursday, Monday through Friday, but you got to pick which day you want to go, and then the next week you can't make any. And so they're having to pick and choose, and then they're still not being able to utilize it. So having something where it's 14 days a month and you use it any way that you want is going to fit your schedule. So you're going to be able to get in on your days off and make every single class. And so I just encourage everybody that is working that schedule. That's the same thing with those people that are working the Super 7s. Like, we have a plan for you, and I think it's awesome.
Yeah, and I know that if you're struggling with anything, anxiety, depression, anything of that nature, mental, like Dustin said throughout this whole podcast, the amount of strength that you will gain if you put in the work here is, you just can't fathom it. We've all gained it. Yeah. It just takes time. It takes a little bit of effort, a little bit of time, but each day you get a little bit stronger, a little bit more thoughtful with your thoughts. We talk a lot about how we speak, negative self-talk, and we do a lot of different things to help the community at large. And so we would just encourage you to come visit us, check us out, talk to Dustin if you have any questions, or me.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's a wrap. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.